And general availability means that the supply will meet the demand. You can surge up, you can contract, but at all times it's available. And it means that the equipment that's in the cloud, the applications that are in the cloud, are all expandable. And we use the word elastic a lot. It means that if you need a lot of it, you're going to get a lot of it. If you don't, you don't. So, you're going to ask for what you would normally ask for, service level agreements. You're going to ask for availability, meaning will the demand be there to match my requirements? Will the supply be there to match my requirements? They're going to ask all of those kinds of things from the cloud. That's really the economic model that makes the cloud so attractive. And that's why the cloud's here to stay. The economics of availability make it very, very attractive from an economic standpoint. Well, the implications are that the security products themselves are elastic. Now that's new, right? Because the security products that make up the security infrastructure in your network weren't designed to be elastic. They were in fact designed to be closed, hardened, and rigid. That was how they were designed, to be available. To match the availability that the cloud promises, the security products have to be as elastic as the cloud is. That's the paradigm shift. And how to get technologies that were developed for networks 3 years ago, to get those technologies ready for the cloud, they have to be as extensible, as elastic as the cloud promises to be. And so the security providers have to do that. It's too easy to say it's software. Security is way more than software. There is no two ways about it. Security has to include hardware someplace. Just like the cloud eventually has hardware in racks someplace, there's going to be security, and that security is going to have to be as elastic as the rest of the cloud that's delivering the application. I believe that the market will demand that they do that. That's my belief, because it gets back to the users are demanding it. And if users are demanding it, then the cloud providers are going to get to the point where they have to provide it. Now, I think the security itself will be variable, in how comprehensive that security might be. Just like the availability will be scalable. I mean, the whole thing is about scalability. So you may be able to get very hard security, you may be able to get casual security, but it'll match the requirements. But I think by the time the cloud is fully embraced by all enterprises, I don't see how the clouds can't be secure. They're just going to. The approach is going to have to be prove that it's as secure in the cloud as it was in your own network. Now, keep in mind you could never make those guarantees even in your own network, right? But to the extent that you're taking the proper methods, applying the proper products, applying the proper structure to the security, to that extent that you're satisfied with your security in the network and the questions you ask about that, you should be able to ask about that and get the same answers for the cloud. I mean, a lot of the cloud providers at the moment are saying that they're not going to answer security questions. Well, the fact is they're going to have to, right? I mean, you wouldn't accept that answer if it was your own network. Eventually, you're not going to accept that answer in the cloud, because the cloud users, the enterprise users, are getting very security savvy. They understand the difference between commercial security and high-end security and commodity security. They understand those variances. So they're not going to get by with hand-waving. They're going to have to prove that their clouds are secure in the same manner that you had to convince yourself that your own network was secure. So I think the language will be the same, the solutions will be the same, they just have to be applied to the cloud. And I think that's where this is going, from the standpoint that the problem of securing in the cloud isn't fundamentally different than securing in your network. It's just a lot more complicated. But the solutions are fundamentally similar solutions. I believe that at minimum, you have to make sure that the data can be transported, and I think the cloud providers are going to be able to do that. I mean, a cloud provider that can't transport the data is not going to get very far. The thing that has to be assured after that is that the data that's remaining in the unused company, the unused infrastructure, the unused cloud, whatever's remaining after this merger, that data can't be made a liability. So the data does not represent a jeopardy to the data owner. Again, for us, that's a security question. And it's a security question that boils down to how is it encrypted, and who's got the keys to decrypt it. And as long as you can manage who's got the keys to decrypt it, you don't have to worry about whether that data can be abused and misused. So from our perspective, it's a matter of moving the data and then protecting the data that's no longer or that is continuing to be residing on the old infrastructure. But in the security environment, that's a pretty normal problem to solve. It just so happens to be, existing in the cloud. But it's like we were saying earlier, there's really not new problems in the cloud. It's old problems that need more comprehensive solutions.